You've been involved in an accident. You have serious injuries, permanent injuries. How is your attorney going to present this to a jury so that they know what you're going to experience not only now, but into the future? I'm Dave Glatthorn. I'm an attorney in West Palm Beach, and I exclusively represent injured people. When we have a situation involving serious permanent injuries, we present evidence to the jury in a number of different fashions. We present, of course, the medical doctors to explain about the injuries that they treated. If you have serious permanent injuries, it may affect you in every walk of life. Your ability to keep a job, for future medical expenses, and how does an attorney get that across to a jury? Well, we do it in a number of ways. We bring in the doctors, of course, to talk about the initial injuries. But then we also look to the future, because the injured person only has one day in court, and the jury has to award compensation, fair compensation for the entire life when you're talking about permanent injuries. So the way we do that is we use a number of different experts. If we're talking about an injury that affects someone's ability to earn a living or to keep this job that they had before, we might have them referred to a rehabilitation specialist. Now, this is an actual medical doctor who specializes in rehabilitation, and they have specialized tests. One's called a functional capacity test, where the injured person does different tasks, and the doctor is able to take the results of those tests and say, okay, this gentleman should not lift any more than 15 pounds at any one time on a regular basis, or 20 pounds on an occasional basis. He shouldn't work more than 4 hours a day. He shouldn't be on his feet that time. Things of that nature. Now, we take that information, that basic physical information, the physical restraints that the injured person is working under, and then we hire a vocational rehabilitation specialist. This is a specialist that knows job requirements and knows what these requirements that the doctor has already calculated, what kind of jobs that person can do. And that vocational rehabilitation specialist can either say, this man is permanently injured, he has no credible source of going out and finding a job, nobody will hire him. Or he'll say he needs to be retrained into a different job. Then we take those raw figures and say someone was making $10 an hour before as a pipe fitter, and now they can only make $5 an hour. And they've got a 20-year work life expectancy. We take those figures and also the figures about future medical expenses, and we give these all to an economist, because an economist will take the raw figures, add them up, and come up with something that's called present money value. Now, this is an economic loss summary that was done in a recent case, and if you can come in just a little bit, we'll see the breakdown here. The economist has broken it down to past values of replacement labor, past value of lost services, that's the things that he used to do around the house that now he can't do and that his wife now has to hire people to do, and past medical expenses. And they totaled $137,466. But now looking into the future, what we took was the second period of time was to age 70, which we figured as very conservative as his life expectancy. And the additional cost of replacement labor calculated to $203,000. Now, that's not just taking the figures and adding them up and just having a lump sum. That's present money value is defined as that amount of money that you would have to put into a safe, secure investment, and that would grow over time to reach that figure. Now, as a practical matter, in these days, you don't get much on interest, but these things change from year to year. The next category that the economist worked on was future medical expenses. Now, we know traditionally that medical expenses go up higher than the rate of inflation, so the economist builds that in. And he came up with a lump sum of $389,000 just to compensate this gentleman for what the conservative value of his future medical expenses was going to be. And when you total up all these numbers together, you come up with a total economic, both past and future, hard dollars of $648,040. So it is important for the jury to understand. That sounds like a big figure, but it's not, because it's incurred day by day by day. And as I say, the injured person only has one day in court. And that's why it's important to have a capable, competent, experienced lawyer that can present the full range of damages, the full range of losses that the injured person has suffered. If you've been injured, seriously injured in an accident, you're going to have questions, you're going to have concerns, you're going to have anxieties. Call me. We handle these cases on a routine basis. We can answer your questions, we can address your concerns. 659-1999. I'm Dave Glatthorn, and I thank you for watching this video.